Yo, family, what's good? Welcome back once again to another crypto and Kaspa live stream. The question, of course, on everybody's mind is surrounding the geopolitical tensions and Trump's tariff that he's imposed onto the European Union or many of the European countries. We can see here that even the European Union now has suspended trade deals with the United States, according to Bloomberg. So my personal belief, which is what I mentioned earlier today with my VIPs, is we'll probably end up seeing some headwinds as week starts. So it's going to be a big week for us for more ways than one. But the title of the stream, it asks the question of whether Trump has actually kickstarted a Kaspa bull. And of course, we can see right now on Kaspa's chart currently down 0.81% of the daily time frame. And it's valued at 4.39 cents. So by all means, it does not look like a bull run started by any means just yet. But this comes as, well, you know what we do in this channel. We don't like to just purely speculate, right? We do throw some speculation here and there, but we try to support our beliefs with stats and facts. This post comes from a repost from Paul Van Son from the International Energy Agency, IEA. And the IEA, if you aren't aware, work with governments and industries to shape a secure and sustainable energy future for all. They are a very, very important, influential kind of institution that helps in the direction of energy going forward. And what they highlight here, to quote it, is amid ongoing geopolitical uncertainty and renewed volatility in energy markets, energy security has once again become a top priority. Now that's very important. So as we delve deeper into this stream today, talking about the recent updates, about this post here as well, and how it correlates to Kaspa, and then equally some other updates, some other projects, some AI projects as well. We have to understand this week's going to probably be a very, very big one. So a lot of volatility I am anticipating, some potential headwinds and even some tailwinds on the latter half of it depending. But this is going to be the main focus of today's stream. The IEA, basically, from my speculative, pick out here, is that they are identifying that energy security has once again become a top priority. Which is why Paul Van Son said here, this is why a fast emergence of traded global clean energy markets are imperative. Traded fossil fuels are not only causing severe climate disruption, but they're also higher security mitigation costs, which is precisely why KI and DI have been formed. And we're going to go through both these posts here and equally do some little snippets and covering what we covered a very minimal amount in my, what I mentioned to my VIPs a little bit earlier, the roundtable here. And we're going to be talking about the growing belief right now that Kaspa actually is in an extremely strong position right now to perform well in 2026 this year. So, as we look at the market chart right now, we'll start off actually in order. We know that yesterday, Trump had issued tariffs on the European countries. We spoke about it yesterday, from the UK to Denmark and multiple other nations in the European Union. Trump had issued tariffs on them at 10% to be starting on the 1st of February and then to increase to 25% by the 1st of June if there has been no negotiations that has actually resulted in what Trump wants, which is to take control of Greenland. The result of that, we have seen the European Union now suspending the trade deal it had with America, which I'm not surprised at all. As I mentioned in yesterday's stream, I don't see, as it stands right now, this working out in a way that does result in Trump getting Greenland. I don't know what's going to happen, but I see it as probably just tariffs being enforced, and then you'll probably see a trade war scaling up. That's what I currently speculate, because I don't see right now a future where Denmark and Europe give over Greenland, because the question, of course, that I asked yesterday would be, if that happens, then where does it go from there? It's one thing implementing tariffs and trade deals for minerals to make it fair to bring income back into America, that's fine. In fact, all more power to you. I think that's perfectly fine Trump doing that. But it's something else entirely when you're doing tariffs and implementing these trade wars as a form of, well, to secure land. So where does it go from then? Do you eventually, let's just say for argument's sake, we know that right now there's a global crisis for birth rates because nobody can really afford to raise a family in this current global economy. What's to say that America has a massive drop off, and then Trump decides to use tariffs as a means to ask these other nations to send people over to America? That's a very extreme scenario, and it's purely hypothetical as well. But it's just to try and guess. To guess for me is how I'm envisioning the kind of stepping stones in regards to, it's one thing for minerals. Now you're asking for a country. What happens after that? Which is why I don't believe that this trade deal is going to go through. That Greenland's going to be given up. Point being is that's what we saw on Saturday. Because it happened on a Saturday, markets not reacted because the TradFi market's not open on a weekend. Not seeing any movement right now. You could very well see a lot of volatility on Monday, which is what this post here from Kobe SE highlights here about, you know, what happens to silver. Every single time you've seen the threat of tariffs, silver has had a rally. Liberation Day, the first tariff threats, the US-China trade deal, and then you saw the second one in October. Every time that happened, you saw silver, the metal, start to rally. And now you've seen, since this push for Greenland's been present, silver's gone astronomical because it is perceived as safe havens. Bonds have been getting crushed and crypto remains highly volatile, solidify gold and silver as the global safe havens. We can see that right now. I mean, they're not doing too much today, but even then they're nearing all-time highs. Gold is basically at all-time highs at just short of 4.6k. And silver here is down 2.5%. But additionally and equally, I mean, this is again, it's because these markets are closed on the weekend, so you have not seen any movement. But I wouldn't be surprised to see both gold and silver to start rallying tomorrow when the market's open, and you see stocks pull back and crypto pull back even more so. Because in a period of uncertainty and geopolitical tensions, that's when you see safe havens perceived. Well, you go to your metals, your safe haven, because that's people are right now uncertain of where the general markets and economies are heading. So they try to find some security, some safety. So we also got this post here, just on a quick poke, just to put a pin in it right now, where apparently the Fed and Trump are set to add $600 billion of fresh quantitative easing liquidity this year via T-bills, MBS buying and reinvestment, according to the Bank of America's Michael Harnett, which, if that is true, that is going to be significant. You think about it in regards to crypto's market cap right now is around 3.2 trillion. So you're going to see about a fifth, an extra 600 billion is quite significant as well. So that is good to see. But this week's going to be one that I believe is very, very volatile. Probably you could see a lot of headwinds tomorrow because the markets have a chance to react to this recent tariff that was implemented, or the threat of which has been implemented by Trump. Now, Bitcoin's still holding relatively strong. I do anticipate Bitcoin probably revisiting this level of 94k again, maybe even correcting a little bit further into it. I'm under the interpretation that Bitcoin will probably hold above 90, this support zone here, around 91, 92k. It does, of course, that could definitely come down further depending on the investor sentiment around the geopolitical tensions right now. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin tomorrow correct and maybe find a bit of a rally day end. The FUD and uncertainty, the volatility that comes on the back of these tariffs happens every single time. You see a lot of mass selling, and then people end up not panicking because they realize that the date is not until much later, 2-3 weeks in the future. So they're like, well, why are we panicking right now? We've got time. But I think you'll see Bitcoin retest 94k, probably even blow past and come down to 92. Hopefully we hold that. Then we're still supporting the current pattern being formed, which is a higher low and higher high pattern right now. That would be the ideal scenario here. So if longer we can hold around here, that'd be great. And then that means we could still be seeing a, albeit maybe delayed, but a gradual uptrend forming. And then when we look into Kaspa, therefore, if we do see more pullbacks, which is what we've been talking about, I know me and Kryptoni in these chats, in these channels, in these streams have been saying, it's a good possibility we see a 4.1, and I do think it's going to happen, a 4.1, 4.15. is going to likely be coming to Kaspa. If you do see Bitcoin correct further down right now, Kaspa's currently down 0.7%, so it's not moving too much, valued at 4.39. Since Kaspa has corrected into the support zone here, we have seen an incremental but steady pullback right now. And I do think, I mentioned it time and time again, that I'm currently playing out and looking for my next long opportunity. I am under the increasing belief right now. We'll see how the week plays out, but I'm going to likely be looking to a DCA level, probably around this level here of 4.1 to 4.15 cents, in the belief that we'll probably hit this support, hopefully still supporting the higher low, and then we'll end up going here as well, and going up a little bit more so as well. We'll see how that pans out, but the belief of that is also fueled by the post here that we just covered at the beginning. The IEA talked about how with these growing feud between other nations, geopolitical uncertainty, which coincides with the tariffs, and the increasing belief of renewed volatility in energy markets, energy security has become, again, a top priority, which is something that DRI are taking very, very seriously with Kaspa. You've got this first post here that I've already covered, but this happened on the 14th of Jan, where there was a presentation where DRI took a presentation with a Mazda, and they were just speaking about renewable, hydrogen, and energy storage insights of 2030 and their MENA energy outlook of 2026, to which they go through all of the clean energy pyramid here. So very relevant to the IEA, and not just them, also McKinsey and also BNY Mellon and other institutes are talking about. Very relevant here. And in one of their slides, they literally highlighted that the clean equals physical caveats and virtual clean properties. Right here, the virtual layer in a settlement. This is literally highlighting that their plan in order to achieve the energy security and clean energy and green energy is to utilize Kaspa's block DAG architecture as a settlement layer. Very, very big news. Of course, the post I made here is like, DRI have now just presented Kaspa as a caveat and settlement layer in its own official capacity, which is huge. This is a monumental moment for Kaspa, as it is now officially recognized and endorsed as infrastructure by global leaders. And the KRI and their post here just said that it's important to remember that secure, fast, and scalable global information carriers such as Kaspa are a key layer to achieve this energy transition and help open these markets. And then we can move into this post here as well, which, you know, it's a bit dated now, at least for us, 10 days now. But even then, the article that in question came out at the beginning of this year, so it's only a couple of weeks old. A snippet here from a Baker McKinsey document, which, to reiterate what I've said before, Baker McKinsey are no laughing matter. When they say something, you listen to them. Why? Because they are one of the biggest law firms in the world, and their client list is 90% of Fortune 500 companies. We're talking Apple, we're talking Microsoft. These big, big companies, they're on Baker McKinsey's client list. So when they are making documents like this, you're effectively hearing the insights, the cumulative insights of all the other leading institutions and what they're looking for right now. And in their document, they highlighted that the two main points of concern, or the investment opportunities, what you should be paying close attention to in 2026, is the rise of data centers, which we've seen this document come out sometime in December, I believe it was, a month ago or so, where DRI posted data centers, the new super off-takers of clean energy, which is basically just talking about the utilizing of the Middle East as the prime location for sustainable data centers, but also, while not name-dropping it, easily, quite comfortably, we could attribute to this because they're correlating it, especially thanks to this document here, talking about it being utilized with Kaspa. So you got that. McKinsey are talking about how what you need to pay attention for, the structure just taking shape right now, is the importance of sustainable data centers, and that the winners of 2026 will be those that embrace flexible, principle-based regulations. You can see that right here, which is very important, hugely important. And we understand that those who are able to achieve that will be rewarded, who turn regulatory hurdles into massive competitive advantages. And then you've got KRI with their Warp Core, which has literally done just that. KRI's Warp Core, they allow these banks who are already utilizing Warp Core in a sandbox environment they allow these banks even to utilize Kaspa's 10 BPS block DAG architecture to trade. Right now, they are allowing credit swaps, I believe, right now in the sandbox environment, doing credit swaps while staying self-sovereign, meaning that they are compliant with their own local laws. They haven't got to change how they do things if they are doing stuff in America, which would be different to how they're doing it in China or Europe or the UK. They could just utilize 10 BPS Kaspa, and because it's self-sovereign, they can stay aligned with where they are in that present moment, which if they're in Europe, they haven't got to focus about what they're doing in America. It's just the European branch that you need to focus on. So it's a self-sovereignty. It allows banks to use Kaspa 10 BPS speed while staying 100% compliant with local laws, which is huge. So that is two of the major things that right now leading financial institutions are prioritizing: sustainable data centers and infrastructure that can supersede these regulatory hurdles. And that's what we also covered earlier in our VIP community. We covered a document, which I'm going to just kind of flash on screen, from BNY Mellon. And in fact, I think the KRI, or was it DRI, one of the two, actually already posted about this. If I can find it, I think it was DRI, but I'll double check. It was one of the two. One of them reposted the BNY Mellon document. Yeah, it was KRI here. Yeah, Kaspa is one of the core missing pieces of global infrastructure, especially as we transition to newer, bigger, and more complex systems. The document here, we covered it earlier today, it literally talks about growth of core infrastructure, AI, and the demand for infrastructure. It talks here about data centers. AI data centers. It's better to quadruple by 2030. Look at all these stats here. And this comes again from Baker McKinsey. So we are seeing a literal institutional confirmation now of the importance of AI, data centers, and infrastructure that can supersede regulatory hurdles. Those are the three key themes for 2026. If you're wanting, in my personal belief, this is what my research has told me, for me, my way of thinking, okay, I'm going to be making money this year. My way of making money is looking into AI infrastructure. That's why I'm looking at AI crypto to my VIPs right now. Seeing what's going on with data centers, why I'm, of course, still holding Kaspa, because DRI are doing that, which is great. And then also looking at to those who can supersede regulatory hurdles, which, once more, Kaspa's the only one that can actually do that, because it's actually truly decentralized, which is huge. So this is fantastic news to see. And we can call it all the way back once again to how the IEA are highlighting that because of what's happening right now with these tariffs, is actually making this energy security become a bigger priority again. So that could potentially act as some form of catalyst in regards to Kaspa. Maybe not right here and now whilst DRI is still implementing Kaspa's architecture and it's still trying to be utilized. It's still in the kind of, I guess, pilot stage. But we're seeing steps are being made. They're talking about utilizing it right here and now. So these can act as catalysts for Kaspa going forward with institutions wants to find a way to have secure energy. Kaspa. Data centers, sustainable ones. Kaspa. Supersede regulatory hurdles. Kaspa. And then AI, which Kaspa could also tap into that as well. But there are some AI projects that already, I think, are well positioned, which I made a whole AI playbook doc, and I sent to my VIPs earlier last night as well, which went through in earlier roundtable as well. So you want to find out that AI doc, you could check out the VIP. You could frankly check it out for free if you really wanted to. For a 7-day free trial, you can tune in, look into the assets that we have been and are looking into, tune into the executive roundtable, learn get involved with the trade alerts and much more, and understand exactly where we believe the 2026 market is going to be heading. It seems to be very much focused around artificial intelligence. People believe the bubble's going to burst. They don't. And this is what they're telling their enterprise clients, not retail. You know, this is what we went through earlier today as well. So we're going to go through some AI stuff in a moment. So before we do, that is kind of the intro for today's roundtable. Welcome back, family. You're doing very, very well. Dimitar, first, as always, hope you're doing very well, my man. Hope we go to 10 cents soon. I think is a very realistic possibility we see Kaspa go to 10 cents. How soon is the question, of course. I don't, it's tough to really put a timeline on that because there are so many psychological barriers we need to surpass for Kaspa. We already highlighted this in the past. We need to surpass this zone here. We need to surpass this zone here. That's going to be critical. We also need to surpass 8 cents has been another one where we've seen proven massive level of resistance here. We stayed consolidating around these zones for literal months or weeks on end. So we need to pass this level, then 8 cents. After that, then I think 10 cents is definitely a possibility. Every time that we have surpassed 8 cents, like look at every time we surpassed 8 cents. Apart from, this time we just kind of shot straight up, but the last 2 times we surpassed 8 cents, we saw it go to 13, then we saw it go to 12 or 12. So if we go surpassing this 8 cents level of resistance again, 10 cents is for me inevitable. Although, of course, not financial advice. Got to do your research. But I think it's going to take us maybe a bit of time. I think the current trade war that's brewing will probably add further stipulation into the market, some FUD, and result in metals rallying again, which is not ideal, of course. But I've taken these as opportunities rather than acting. I understand feeling exhausted in the markets. Trust me, I think we all have that exhausted mentality right now. We've been waiting for a long time, by all means. And we've got longer to wait, unfortunately, still. But all the information that we look through seems to suggest that this next move up, it is imminent. It is imminent. Whether we'll see that kind of happen soon after the tariffs, whether the catalyst will be the regulatory frameworks being implemented, a new Fed chair after midterms, the foundation is being laid right now. And there are certain assets that I believe will perform well despite overall sentiment, like AI assets. I think they're going to perform very, very well, even if the market's doing terrible. I can see AI going on its own individual rally this cycle. That's why we're looking into it so much right now. That's what my information tells me. If you want to find that information, you want to see what I'm talking about, once more, check out the VIP, learn and understand what the smart money are investing into, what they're looking at, so we can be prepared for when the market's going to move and what's going to move. I think Apple will have its time as well. But 10 cents is a big question of when. I'm hopeful we'll see it in the first half of this year. And of course, that's 5-6 months away still. So it's a long time. But I think we can see it hopefully before then. We'll have to see how the other developments take shape though. Rate cuts will be helpful as well. Welcome back, Baby Daddy Bro, doing very, very well, my man. And you too, Wing Hong. Not yet, soon enough, hopefully. Welcome back, Lau. And you too, Kryptona, my man. Quick, Kaspa news, you know it. Should USA take over Europe? No. Welcome back, Blaze. You did very, very well. Welcome back, RVP. Cash Ching in the house. Oh, welcome back, Cash Ching. You did very, very well. Kaspa will rule in due time. Stack now, enjoy later. Completely agree, my man. Completely agree. Welcome back, Senor Cherv. On a boat in Bocas del Toro with a signal saying hello to my brother in Christ and fellow Caspians. This is going to be a warm-up soon. Hold for dear life, gang. Completely agree. This is just another test for us, but once more, it's no longer, I think it's very, very evident to say now, right now, it's no longer a question of Kaspa's doing bad, it's crypto's doing bad. I think that's the one thing that I am, without saying happy about, because it's not the right word, but I'm a bit, I guess, more content right now with that sentiment, because all of 2025 was like Kaspa's doing bad, which was never the case. If not Kaspa, it was crypto. But now we can see the whole market are acting in unison. Kaspa's no different. And that sentiment of Kaspa being bad is completely gone now. It's just crypto is not moving. Kaspa is silver. I mean, that we've kind of stopped saying that recently as well. But Kaspa is perceived as silver because it's more so a medium of exchange. So maybe we'll see Kaspa follow along with silver's movement soon. We can only hope. Yo, looking forward to your pumps and episodes next week. Oh yeah, the one that we're going to be doing, me and Crypto Pumps with Rory and the KRI, is going to be huge. And there's some other snippets that I think are going to be coming inside that realm, inside that blockchain banter space as well on Tuesday. So definitely tune in for that one. You're going to hear a lot of alpha. I think it's going to be stuff that's never been mentioned before. That's my hope. We'll have to see how lucky we get though, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be some insane news. Welcome back, Mila. You're doing very, very well. Keep grinding and have faith on our investment. Kaspa is the best shot we have got in this crazy crypto market. I completely agree. So many bullish things happening in 2026 for Kaspa. Oh yeah, too many to count. We've got some of those posts actually in today's stream we're going to be going through very shortly. But there's so much taking place this year for the general market, but equally for Kaspa as well. I mean, this post that we just gone through alone, this introduction, if you will, in regard to what KRI and DRI are doing for Kaspa and how it correlates to the geopolitical tensions, that is already one bullish element. It doesn't specifically name drop Kaspa, but you can see the quite obvious puzzle pieces fitting together there. What DRI and KRI are doing with Kaspa literally correlates to what leading institutions and governmental bodies are talking about, what they're focusing on right now, which lets us know that these institutional industrial initiatives that are working right now, they are in the right spaces, and they know. I mean, we should know they know what the issues are, but they do, and they're trying to help. They're trying to utilize Kaspa to fix these issues, which is great stuff. And I appreciate very much, Kryptoni. I agree. If you enjoy the content, try to do stuff daily now. I have been doing it daily. When did it actually start? When did I start doing it daily again? Can't let me remember. I know I started doing it daily again not that long ago. It was from about 10 days, so it's still early doors, but back to doing daily live streams. So if you enjoy the content, you know what to do. Leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Jay, you should add a number on your streams like episode 134, like Blockchain Banter does. Keep it up, bro. Larger streams. I shall try, because that's not a bad idea at all. Although I've been doing this for well over a year now, so I would be on episode like 400 at least by now. I'll see if I can try and count up how many streams I've done. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. People then can see how long we've been doing this for, and most of them have been every single day. We did have a bit of a month or 2 month kind of hiatus near the end of 2025 due to personal family matters. But yeah, it's not a bad shout at all. There will be episode numbers for the blockchain banter spaces, no doubt about it. That'll be a continual thing, but it's not a bad thing for me. I mean, I do plan to change my thumbnails actually for videos and streams, so that might be when I start doing it from there. I saw TangerPay is available in certain areas. Heard any about UK? I have not heard anything about the UK just yet. I'm waiting to hear more, truth be told. If I've got any details caching, I'll see if I can find out and let you know. By the way, KRI, do we know if they will have a capital mining farm? It's a great question. I see if I can ask them. Hopefully we'll find out soon. I don't think they do right now, but that could definitely change as time goes on. Kaspa is dead. You can say the same thing for every asset. Kaspa is moving in tandem with every other asset in this space. Sui, equally in a similar spot. Tau. I mean, AI's done a bit better, albeit, but every asset has been very, pretty much the same, since the year started. It's not a matter of Kaspa anymore. That's been very well disproven in my belief. It's more so a case of just how crypto is performing right now, which is just evidently the markets are not favoring risk on. It's just how it is. That's why gold and silver have been the best performers for the last basically year. Because right now there's been so much uncertainty, so much FUD that people are going to safe havens because they know that their money is going to more likely they're called safe havens for a reason, right? Because they are where you put your money when you're uncertain. You don't go to bonds, you don't go to equity, you don't go to stock, to crypto. You go to risk off. You go to safe havens. You go to gold and silver. I'm tired, boss. Trust me, I'm no different. We are all quite tired right now. We've been waiting, best part of a year or whatever it's been for a movement. Of course, especially since, I guess you could realistically say since October 10th. That's when the market started coming down. Of course, for Kaspa's case, it's been, going into 2 years now. But for the general market, it's been since October 10th, so going, plus 3-4 months now. And I don't disagree. It has been exhausting. It's been exhausting. But I mean, I guess the thing I could say that if it was easy, we'd all be billionaires, right? It's never had been easy. It's never going to be easy. You could argue right now it's the easiest time, but it's a matter of having conviction. That's why I also promote the VIP in the manner I do so, because the VIP, we go through what these institutes are looking at. We have a better idea of where they are investing their money. We don't want to get sold a shorthand or get caught out in this market right now. You take it very seriously in there, trying to analyze the market sentiment, the institutional sentiment, and what they think is going to do well. The one thing that I have seen, which is very apparent, what I mentioned in the post, is that AI demand isn't slowing down, it's actually accelerating, which is why we're looking at AI assets right now. Data centers and Gen AI demand set to 4x over the next 4 years, which is also big for Kaspa. If you know, you know. We just covered exactly why it's big with these posts here. And then equally, as you saw in the document, $160 trillion is expected, $106 trillion is expected to be needed through the next 14, 15 years to help reach the demand, the growing demand right now that is for these data centers and this AI stuff, which means that we're going to see a lot more capital kind of pushed into these markets. This comes from Baker McKinsey, BMO, and many, many more. We take our research seriously because the research is ultimately what correlates to wise investment decisions. If you want to find out more, links are down below in the description. VIP right there. Join for a 7-day free trial, or you can get a 1-month free trial. You should sign up to BYDFI, our affiliate exchange, and follow the steps in the free Discord server. So you can go check that out also down below. Pay to Pay Visa card is now live. I just got it activated. I'm in the United States. Can't wait now to cash out whenever the right time comes. I mean, that's great. That's fantastic stuff. I have heard that it was live in the US. I don't know about the UK just yet, though. I'm going to double check and find that out. But yeah, it's great to see it now out. We can only hope that one day that Tangent Pay will be running off Kaspa as opposed to Polygon. I think we should come save you from the immigration and free speech problem. It's a problem anywhere. The AC problem, I will 100% agree with you, Kryptonia, 100%. Everything else is also a problem, but that's not a UK thing. That's a general global thing. I've seen it happen in America as well, in certain regions. Happens in China a lot. Happens in everywhere has these monitoring and stuff. No guns, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't. I haven't got an issue with not having guns. I don't want a gun. You know, I don't think that's an issue at all. But the AC problem, that I will 100% stand on that hill with you, because that is terrible. Agreed, you're absolutely right. We are pretty much screwed here in the US as well as in Europe. I mean, everything right now is screwed. Everything's screwed right now. That's why it's been so exhausting, you know. That's why we're here. We're here looking into these streams, looking at this content, because we're trying to find a way to better ourselves in a struggling economy, in a struggling market. We're trying to find a way to better our livelihood. So that's why we're looking into the stuff right now, and why we do it daily as well. Bitcoin is down from all-time highs, about 20%. Kaspa down for 100%. Math's not exactly massing, but I stand with the sentiment. Kaspa is down 20 years, 20 cents to 4 cents, 5 times less. Yeah, it's not exactly how that works, Dimitar, but I know what you mean. It's not 500% down, it's 75% down. You can draw that out here. You can see, well, actually it's about 80% now. Which does look terrible, of course, and it is. But I can once more, as always, pick out of a hat a number of other projects that have been about longer as well, that have equally, like if you look into stuff like, we'll pick out Quant, for example. This is Quant. From its all-time high, that's down 80% as well. Quant is much more established. It's spoken about a much... Quant is one that I think will probably do very, very well. Quant's down 80% from all-time highs, and even from its local high, which happened when Trump won the election, still down 52%. You've got HBAR, similarly, from all-time highs, down about 70%. And then from local highs, down about 60%. So it's why I reiterate it so much that it gets almost boring, but it's why I say that just purely looking at price is not a pure measurement of an asset. You can't only look at the price to measure how good an asset is, because that the case, then everything's terrible right now, because nothing's doing well. Even Bitcoin's down. So everything is terrible. Bitcoin's down 25% from all-time highs. That's not ideal. If you look at price, then people wouldn't invest. So price is not an accurate measurement of an asset and its value. What comes down to it is the infrastructure. That's what institutions don't care about price. They care about infrastructure. That's what you've got to utilize as a measurement to understand how valuable the asset is that you're holding. So that is, that's why I'm not too worried about Kaspa. It is very, very down, but everything's down. I think Kaspa has a stronger architecture, the infrastructure, so when the markets do return, Kaspa will rally quite well. That's my belief. And we'll hopefully see those steps take shape this year, thanks to the KRI as well. Yeah, but at the same time, you're comparing, in a sense, apple to oranges. Bitcoin has been about since 2008. You've got an 18-year lifespan. It's battle tested. Kaspa's only 4 years old. It's new. It's still in the speculative phase. While the technology has been proven and it's great, it's not caught on. You can't. This is why comparison's also the thief of joy. It's so hard to compare assets to other people because you can't compare them. You can try. You know how people say it's the next Kaspa, it's the next Bitcoin. Like you can try to compare them, but the comparison doesn't come in a nature of price and value. It comes in a comparison of technology. You can't compare assets and their price because it's going to act differently. But if you compare the technology, that's something else entirely. I'm not having any issue with any of these things here. I mean, people again, it's down to you. I'm going back to that. I don't have issues with any of that. Well, the last two I have an issue with. No, the free speech, AC, and financial monitoring I have an issue with. I haven't got an issue with immigration or no guns. Not that I personally experience. But either way, the only one that I actually truly do care about there, in all honesty, is just the AC. Because it's too hot in the UK. It's just far. Even now, we're in winter. And even now I'm boiling. I'm actually sweating under my hat right now. But it's different people. Some people have different needs. I don't have any needs for that. It's not about having one if I need one. I don't need a gun. The government does whatever it does because you're defenseless. I'm not gonna. Yeah, but I just don't need a gun. That's not even like there's zero things that there's nothing that anybody can say to convince me I need one. I don't need one, and I'm not going to get one. Hopefully, Canada doesn't become another USA bank. Are we going towards us? We'll have to see what happens. It's these geopolitical tensions are going to add more uncertainty to the markets, so we've got to keep an eye on that. Maybe I'll leave that open. I personally disagree. I don't think that's why it's happening. But hey. But we are much better than Bitcoin. We're better than Bitcoin, but you're comparing 18-year-old battle-tested tech to new speculative 4-year-old tech. Well, the tech actually is older, but the asset in question Kaspa's only been about for 4 years. When you it's like trying to compare it's like comparing I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime compared to an up-and-coming Messi. That's okay. That might cause some dilemmas because some people actually prefer Ronaldo to Messi. I think Messi's better, but that's neither here nor there. But the premise still stands. You're comparing one that's been proven, who's obviously good in regards to what it is there for, compared to one that's still up and coming. It's still got a lot to prove. Kaspa's still got a lot to prove. You don't value an asset in a value of an asset. But previously, this is all valued in Kaspa's potential. This is all potential value for Kaspa back here. Now this is like actual value for Kaspa. It's undervalued, in my belief, but it's actual value perceived for Kaspa right now. And that will change when the use case for Kaspa increases following all the developments from KRI, DRI, IGRA, and so on and so forth. There's literally nothing you can say Kryptonian to convince me that I need one. It's still I've gone down the road of for and against it. I'm never going to be for it. There's no reason to have one, and the argument I can make is if I was to make one, but I'm going to touch it very briefly because it's not about that. This is not what stream's about. Australia had the very, very same thing where they had rights to own arms, and there was a lot of crime. The moment the government removed those rights, the crime went down significantly and became a lot safer. So, and that's a proven case. You can look that up as a proven study. That's one of the bigger arguments as to why they shouldn't be allowed to own arms. I understand the reason why they're in there in the first place, which is to prevent from government overreach and control. But I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. That can be done off stream. If you really want to do it, we can do that off stream. But I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole right now for that. But anyways, let's get into more of the content right now. So we've kind of gone through how this is going to be a huge week, how we're likely going to see some headwinds tomorrow when the markets react to Trump's tariff threats on Europe. And we're going to probably see Remit's rally as well. We've gone through how these tariffs also could be beneficial for Kaspa because of the growing geopolitical uncertainties. Therefore, energy security become a big priority again, which is what DRI is trying to do right now with Kaspa, which is quite good news in that regard. We have got some other updates as well in regards to Kaspa. So for one, we saw Wallet One add another close to 5 million Kaspa. So this is still accumulating more and more, which is great to see. Here's a screenshot for it. Coming from Gate. So we're still seeing more and more capital being cycled about, which is very big news. We have no idea who Wallet One is. People speculate it's Satoshi Nakamoto, whether it's Sompolinsky, whether it's Binance, a market maker, whether it's KRI. We don't know. Entity X will hopefully find out at some point, but we don't know who it is. Nobody seems to know. You could ask the KRI. I'm sure they equally tell you they don't know, but we'll hear whatever their insight is. We've got the other post here as well, which is equally very big. Struom here, Steph from Kaspa. So Kaspa can now verify any Groth16 proof generated by any proof system supporting the algorithm. What does this mean? Well, simply put, Groth16 is one of the most common ZK proof standards in crypto. It lets someone prove the claim is true without revealing the private data about it. So it means that Kaspa can now trustlessly verify proof produced by many external ZK systems, not just one custom setup. So this is a huge, huge step. ZKs are already, in a sense, on Kaspa. This is huge because it opens the doors to verified off-chain computation, privacy preserving proofs, and Oracle-like event verification. So in other words, Kaspa is now becoming more than just fast money. It's becoming a real-time verification and settlement layer for next-gen apps. This is a fantastic development, and I love to see this right now. So this is also one of many, many big developments coming out to Kaspa in 2026 this year. We are currently 2 weeks into the new year pretty much, and we've seen the release of Warp Core in the sandbox environment. DRI had a presentation last week of Kaspa. You saw developments with Igu Labs. They are now live in a closed mainnet, which is fantastic. You've now got the covenants that are now live on testnet 12, which is a huge security upgrade. You've now got ZKs that are now live as well, which is just fantastic stuff right now. So Kaspa is definitely releasing some huge blockbuster developments right now. So this is all setting the foundation, setting the stone for where we're going to be going this year, which is very exciting stuff. You see more features added as well right now. It looks like the website created by community members like CoinAthlete here said that now they've got an added tab where you can look at what experts are going live at the current moment in time, correlating to Kaspa as well, which is a very big update as well. Hopefully see one for YouTube as well, so you can see when me and Crypto Pumps go live every Tuesday. You'll see that just up here as well. And speaking of events and stuff like that, there's going to be an event, a networking opportunity, if you will, happening at Wolfie's Bar. This Thursday coming, which I should be I'm aiming to attend. My hope is to attend it. So this is going to be another very exciting opportunity just to meet other people and learn more about the space, what's happening. So whether you have got stuff going on or not, if you can tune in, come sign up, then the vendor is here to get me for more details. It's a great place just to kind of learn about who's in the space, because all the people here who are there, pretty much all of them are doing stuff on Kaspa as well. So you can learn about their history, their past, what they're building, great connections. It's a fantastic opportunity as well. So if you can, I highly recommend turning up to it. And then to move on to some penultimate posts here as well, a slight deviation of Kaspa right now. It's still very important given what we've just covered about the importance of AI as well. We've got projects. Now, these two projects, I mean, I've mentioned some of my AI picks like BitTensor Tau, like Virtuals, like Render. There are a few others that I've made in my document. which I'm not going to disclose all of them, but I'll disclose one of them as a very, very high risk but potential high reward. It's already performing very, very well, which is Power AI. Apparently something very, very big's coming in the next 8 days or so, so next week, which is exciting stuff. If we have a look at Power right now, Power is an ERC20 asset. So, you know, once more, do trade at your discretion and look into it, do your own research. But so far, Power has done exponentially well, up currently 11% today. And since the new year started, it's done a total of 4.5x, currently up about 4x. So Power's done fantastic so far. I'm expecting Power to do continuously well. We were talking about this since the new year began. So, you know, we're looking into some assets that are already proven to be doing very, very well right now. So you can learn these picks, get ahead of the game as well in the VIP, make some gains during a market where it is not much happening. So you can find all the information out down below. Check out the VIP, join the free trials and learn what's happening in there. Get access to the documents and why. You get a whole deep dive document that I created, which goes into detail about the assets in question, about you know, what their tokenomics, what they're about, their partnerships, my personal I guess grading for how good I think they are, even their concerns and rumors, because it's important to understand everything about our projects. So we've got all that stuff in there, so you can hear all of that about Powell as well. So that's one asset, and they've got something big apparently coming next week. So we're hopefully going to continue stacking on that as well, which is fantastic. And then of course I mentioned Render earlier. A lot big has happened already for Render, and we're expecting more movement for this asset as well as AI continues to start booming more and more. Render, interestingly, which I know Tony might be happy to hear, Render was originally on Ethereum, and then it migrated, I think, sometime last year or 2 years ago on the Solana chain. So what this shows to me is that if the infrastructure is right for it, it's willing to migrate to the better chain. So that means there's a definite possibility you see it migrate to Kaspa in the future, and that'd be huge. I think it's worth its while as well if it does do so. But Render right now is already, it's up. It's not really moving much today, but Render also done pretty well since the new year's begun. Did a total of 2x, currently up about 70% as well. So this is good stuff as well. And then a document here. Yeah, I completely agree, Gosu. If you're concerned about the price of Kaspa, you have too much invested into it. You're over-invested. I completely agree. You should only be willing to invest what you're willing to lose. That is how it should be, 100%. That's why I'm not concerned about the price right now. Also because I wholeheartedly believe it's going to do much better coming soon. I have my research to support my beliefs, my sentiment, but not being overexposed is a big reason why I'm not emotional in regards to trading. Welcome back, Wyatt. You're doing very, very well. Tars AI. I think you did tell me about Tars a while back. I looked into it a little bit. I have to do more research into it whether I think it's worthwhile right now. But I'm currently not holding Tars as I try and reload CMC. I love CoinMarketCap. Yeah, you told me to look at it last time, March, and I remember that. And I did give it a brief look over. I haven't done a little more research into it just yet, but I need a bit more to determine whether I think it's actually worthwhile right now. I'm still a bit hesitant on it right now, so I need to look into more so what it is it actually provides and offers. I mean, you can see the tokenomics there as well, and what it offers as well. But I'll look into it more so, see if I can give you an answer on what I think about it. But right now, that's not on my list. Powell's on my list, Render's on my list, Virtuals on my list, Towels on my list, and there are a few others as well that I've not mentioned that have also performed extremely well since the new year started in the AI sector. Some other microcaps as well that we're looking into, so we'll see how well they do. But this document here from Render kind of just talks about how, once more, how AI is going to grow significantly this year. And some big updates have come out for Render so far. 2026 has already started off very, very fast, talking about the CES Signals, which is the biggest tech event in the world that happens every year, where you saw AMD and NVIDIA CEO speak there. And some big announcements came up about that as well. OTRY officially released Octane 2026, which is huge for Render as well. So apparently they visual for A$AP Rocky's 4th studio album. So, you know, they've got some good kind of connections, if you will. So that is fantastic to hear. And they have even more stuff in the works as well. If you want to find, I'll link this information in my free Discord server if you want to check it out for yourself. But Render's probably one of my strongest convictions, alongside Tau and alongside one other one in particular that I think are going to perform extremely well this 2026. And you've already seen them perform very well so far, so hopefully see it continues. But yeah, with that actually being said, very, very short section to end the AI segment there. As a small recap, I think this week will be an interesting one. I think the first half of the week will probably be quite negative, and we'll talk about it when it happens, but I think second half will be very, very big. And of course, Tuesday will be huge to hear what the KI's got to say during me and Pump's blockchain banter space. So tune in for that most definitely. Set aside some time and you can hear, hopefully, I mean, Roy normally talks for hours, so we'll see how long it goes on for. But that'll be exciting, so tune in for that. And yeah, if you want to find out more, understand where the markets are going, get access to the picks that we made, that we looked into, and the games we made from already, then check out the VIP. Links are all over the place. But that being said, family, I agree. It does give a lot of people a lot of hope. We'll have to wait and see when it comes through. I think it will happen, but it's just a question of when, really. I think you'll probably see it sometime in the first half of the year, I hope. But we'll see, because there's a lot of stuff to take place this year that could delay it, if you will. But anyway, family, that being said, have a great day, good evening, good night. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I'll see you all